All right, there they are coming in one by one. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome, welcome. Sister Aisha Rashid. So you're 1/3 of our young adult panel. Sister Fatima is joining us. And Brother Khalil, inshallah, will be here shortly. So Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak to all of you.
Alaikum assalam and Ramadan Mubarak.
All right.
Alaikum salam, Ramadan Mubarak.
So our young adult panel, we have Sister Fatima Ali, Sister Aisha Rashid, and Brother Khalil Ahmed. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Alrighty.
Assalamu alaikum. You guys hear me okay? All right.
Alaikum assalam.
So alhamdulillah, I think I am going to be asking the questions unless you guys are handling that yourselves. All right, I'm looking for an affirmative. Okay. Alhamdulillah, the first question that was posed to the group is, what does commitment to community life look like to you? Anybody can start. Okay.
I could not hear you very well, and I don't know if it's my connection or yours.
All right.
Yes,
so that's
I
what I
can
was
hear.
asking. Can you hear me a little better now?
I can hear you all right, Imam Ahmed.
Okay. Okay. So the question again is, what does commitment to community life look like?
Okay. Well, I guess I can start since I can hear all right. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. So I would say that, making sure that inshallah our community, to me, community means, having a support system, having healthy families, having safe places for us to meet as a community, which means, the families, the individuals who may not be married, the children having a safe place as well, and basically including everyone, not just specific parts of the community. So the commitment to that will be us creating those safe places, having events that encourage positive community life. And did you want to expound on that, Fatima? Oh, I think she's frozen. Oh, there you
go. So
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. My apologies. I was having some Wi-Fi issues, but I think it's worked out. So alhamdulillah, to answer the first question, which I believe was, what does commitment to community life look like to you? I think commitment to community life can look like so many different things. On an individual level, when I ask myself, what does commitment to community life look like to me? I often ask myself, how can I use my specific experiences, talents, skills, and interests to best serve the community. Since as an individual, if I'm committing to my community and committing to uplifting the community life, one of the best ways that I can go about infusing new life into my community is to start from a place that I'm already energetic about. I think when you're excited about an area and you have skills in that area, you're able to contribute in that area in a meaningful way and with the type of energy that hopefully also infuses life into that activity. So, alhamdulillah, when I think about how I want to contribute to community life and what commitment to community life looks like to me, that's what comes to mind.
Oh, assalamualaikum. Sorry, I just joined. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. You're right on time. So I think the question was, what does community life look like to you? What does community life look like to you?
That is a thorough question to answer for sure. Community life means to me, people coming together, supporting each other. Today in this world and community is very lost, and outside of Islam, men are supposed to be secluded. They're supposed to be able to do everything themselves, and they don't really have a brotherhood for them to help and support each other. Like in school, you learn to do everything by yourself, take the test by yourself, do your own homework, do everything like that by yourself, and there's only one right answer to the question. Well, they're not everybody in like community life, not everybody in like has that community, has like family outside of family that helps you grow. So having that support in the community and Muslim community helped me personally and helped me strive personally, because I was introduced to older brothers that helped me through tough times when my dad passed. I didn't have that father figure anymore, even though I was just becoming into a man. So I thank Brother Hanif, I thank Abdullah Rashid for being there for me. My brother Kamal, he's also there for me. And having that community and having that support, that backbone, a family outside of a family is really important for me for community life. And also gives you a sense of belonging, and outside of this world when it's easily you can become secluded. So, and activities, doing everything like the Iqra voice, that was very, very innovative in thinking, and I never would have really thought of that, and it's just something I'm grateful to be a part of, and other things that just continue to give blessings. And community life for me just means having like harmony outside of your family. So that's really what it means to me.
Alhamdulillah. That's a great comments from everyone. I just want to follow up a little bit before we go on to the next question. I think Sister Fatima spoke a lot about how you have to be engaged in your passions in order for something that you're already doing. It's easier for you to move to commitment to community by doing something that you're already doing, something that you're already energetic about. And then I think Khalil was talking about how Iqra Voice was an example of something that helped him to reach out to the community. So just from your own personal experiences, what are some of the things that you guys are personally excited about that you've been able to translate into community action?
I'll start with this one. Okay, you mentioned the Iqra Voice competition. That's been a lot of fun. This past year, I've spent a ton of time like jumping into the Quran, really working on my tajweed and my Arabic grammar understanding, and it's felt so rewarding to be able to take the knowledge that I've garnered from my tajweed studies and to then use the knowledge that I have to further enrich the the lives of the youth. For example, the youth who are participating in the ICRA voice competition, it's been so fun to work with them and to see them grow for every session that we have. I am a teacher at the Islamic Learning Institute. I teach Young Scholars Arabic Level 2, and I've so enjoyed working with my students and really feeling connected in the community life through educating the younger minds, the minds of the 8th to 14-year-olds who are in my class, who are learning proper Arabic, learning more about beginners Arabic so that they can advance to where they're reading fluently as teenagers or as preteens. That's so exciting. It's exciting to be a part of that. It's exciting to contribute in that way, since engagement with the Quran is something that I'm excited about right now. And it's been a really beautiful experience for me, alhamdulillah.
So my answer is also very similar. So Sister Fatima brought up the Islamic Learning Institute. So I've also been learning. So I kind of started, I think it was in 2019 and then 2020 when they first started just with the beginning Arabic. And then I went all the way to Tajweed level 3. And now I've been offered the chance to also be an instructor. And I'm really excited because all I could think about was my own progress. And alhamdulillah, how much my own Quranic recitation and understanding of the language and the Quran has improved. And then thinking about the people that instructed me and how many blessings they're getting from all of the people who they're helping. And then the fact that I now get to be a part of that and pass on my passion for it as well. I always tell everyone they should take the classes. It's great. And now that I get to be an instructor, I'm really, really excited. And inshallah, I hope to be more involved in the future as well.
Sorry, what was the question one more time? How was you personally affect? What was the question?
No problem. So it's very similar to the second question. So what are you personally, what experiences and knowledge can you bring to community, especially to the youth, from your personal experience that you've already been excited about that you can bring to that next generation? That makes sense?
Oh, yeah. Personally, for me, it's a great experience because my dad taught me in the car on the way to the masjid, an hour-long ride, just like I'm teaching these kids in Iqra voice. So that he was the creator of Islamic Learning Institute. So I had my personal dad right there teaching me all the different things. So it's kind of surreal for me to be actually teaching these kids because I never had that opportunity yet. And just as they were saying, the community that it brings, how it personally affects me. When I was learning these verses by heart, I was learning perfect tajweed from my dad because he'll make it repeat it over and over and over again, and it's like I was teaching myself when I was a little kid. I don't know, it's not always they're not always the best listeners, but when you practice especially with them, they sure get it all the same. And personally, it makes me overjoyed because I'm able to continue my father's legacy from my point of view, than just having his legacy being the Islamic Learning Institute. But for me to offer that to younger generation than me, it feels like I'm passing the torch to them as well. Personally, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. All right. So the next question is, how can the parent generation best assist with helping you navigate the waters of community service?
So I actually do have an answer for this one. So I think just sharing their stories, because I realize there's a lot of things that the parent generation has done, that they have gotten done, that I just had no idea that they did. So I was talking to one of my uncles, he's in his 70s, and he was just telling me so many stories about the nation. And like, I don't want to lie and say what year it was, but it was back when closer to when they first got it started. And he was just telling me all these stories, and I just thought how amazing it was. And I realized how much, for him, for example, how much of a businessman he is, and how he's gotten into so many different business ventures, but it was through those principles that he was taught by the nation. And I realized that, if you all who are listening now just pass on that knowledge to us, it will help us, like, in fantastic ways, because you all went through things that we can't even imagine. So, alhamdulillah, we can take our opportunities and with your knowledge and just go really, really far. So inshallah, I would love to, for more of you to write some books or some articles or blog, something, have more talks, just share your experiences with us, because we don't want to lose all that knowledge, inshallah.
Oh, I can go next. Okay. For the parent generation, I would suggest, well, like she said, she was talking about stories. I saw Mustafa. He gave me a whole documentary. He just sent it to me like a random number. I didn't know who it was, but it was about the Nation of Islam, the full history. I watched that complete thing, and I was completely intrigued. Like, these boys was boarding fish boxes off the thing when they was being kicked out. Like, we gonna. And I was like, okay, people know what they doing, and it was real sense of community. And that's really has been waning on the younger generation. That's something that y'all should teach more about. Also, my dad always talking about not just learning the Quran, but living your life and be guided by it. Not just like, do you believe in God, but do you listen to Him? So that's the thing. But other than that, I think you should teach them to be self-aware about God. Make sure it's taqwa every day in their lives, and make them make decisions based off, so they know when it's good and bad, and know that God is always watching. And that's what you have to drill into your child from until they start saying their first words. But from parents, I would just say, just be supportive. I don't know how much I can spend. I don't have a kid of myself, so I can't really tell exactly. But from my point of view, just showing them that you care and a lot, and you support them. So whatever they're doing, just make sure you guide them by the having God consciousness and taqwa.
Okay. May I ask to hear the question one more time?
Yes. So the question again is, how can the parent generation best assist with helping you navigate the waters of community service?
Let me see. When I think about my answer for this question, I think about how wonderful it would be to have opportunities or to create shared generational leadership spaces, both within our individual communities and then within the larger masjidwdm community. I know that from the point both creating shared generational leadership spaces and extending an invitation to the youth to engage. I know since I was young, like a teenager, I was often invited or volunteered to give a speech at a Ramadan event or an Eid event, or to be on a panel, a youth panel, to be involved in speaking or leadership capacities while I was a youth. And that helped me to get a feeling for what I do enjoy doing as a leader in the community, and gave me opportunities to learn a little bit more about what community engagement can look like. Just from being invited to teach with the Islamic Learning Institute this semester, I've learned that I really enjoy teaching Quranic Arabic, and I never would have thought to explore that route. So I'm so thankful that that invitation was extended to me, and that I had the opportunity to grow into that position. So I think extending an invitation to youth who are engaged, or youth who are curious, or youth who have, all youth have a spark of potential. But if you see that a youth has a spark of potential in a certain area, or a young adult, extending the invitation to them to get involved in that area as a teenager, as a young adult, to see how they can contribute to help bolster their leadership skills and build their confidence in that area. I think that's a really I think that would be an awesome thing for the parent generation to do, to help support both the young adults and the next generations of leaders, the teenagers who are coming up after our generation, to help them in finding their place in leadership in the community. And shared leadership, generational leadership spaces, I just imagine creating a space where, all of the generations of leaders in our community, from several parent generations back to the youngest generation of leaders today, like some of the ones that we see on the panel today, and like the many young adults who aren't on the panel but who are doing amazing things in our community, creating a space where we as leaders in the community just talk about things that pertain to the community. And I know that's very broad, but I think it would be awesome to start creating that space where all of us as leaders start to collect together and talk about caring for our collective ummah, our collective family as a community.
Alhamdulillah. Again, I am taking notes on what we need to do as parents and that parent generation. So I hope everybody else on the call is taking notes as well. We need to share our stories more. We need to make sure that we make our kids our priority, and we need to create shared leadership spaces so that those young adults can find a place to work within the community while we are still there to guide them in that work. So alhamdulillah. I think the fourth question that we had is, what areas of community service most interest you? So kind of building on what Sister Fatima was just speaking about in terms of, and you can answer for yourselves or either some of the other young leaders that that what areas are of interest to you all?
You want me to go first? Okay. For me, area that I'm interested in, I've been doing community service for Masjid, Mercy Masjid Community Center, and I just been doing security out there. But I hear the talks going inside every time they're doing Juma, and I just keep wondering, one time I can just be up there doing presentations, leading the imam. So that is one of the things I'm working towards. But I just want to get myself situated. But for me, if I was going to be a community, like a leader in the community, it would definitely be an imam, and I'll be one giving khutbahs at Fridays. I feel like I try to practice by myself just to see how I sound like. Sometimes I really sound like my dad, so I already know I got all his archives of knowledge that I have access to. So if it was like really interest me, it would definitely be an imam. Also Arabic teacher. But I gotta brush up on my Arabic first. I noticed that kind of when I was teaching these kids, but definitely either imam or an Arabic teacher.
I'll go next. Let me see. Aisha, unless you would like to go, I saw you unmuted. Alrighty. Okay, so when I think about areas of the community that I'm interested in, that I enjoy engaging in. Well, overall, I enjoy engaging in the whole community because the community is awesome. But when I think about areas that I get excited about for leadership opportunities, I love interfaith dialogue, interfaith engagement, interfaith community building. I love those activities so much. So whenever I have the opportunity to be an interfaith ambassador to our interfaith organizations in Houston, like the Interfaith Ministries of Greater Houston, or to congregations of other faiths, I get so excited about those opportunities. So that's an area of leadership that I enjoy and that I look forward to staying engaged in the future. I have so enjoyed teaching my youth about, and all of my students about Arabic, and teaching them the essentials of beginner Quranic Arabic. That's something I've enjoyed so much, and I hope to stay engaged with teaching Arabic to youth or young adults or just individuals who want to learn Arabic in the future, inshallah. Inshallah, I'd love to be. I love, let me see, well, in the Islamic Learning Institute, one of the ayahs that they share often is, the best of those among you are those who learn the Quran and then teach it. And it's just exciting to be a part of an environment where I'm learning the Quran and teaching it. And that's a central, like, core idea in the organization. I also really enjoy working with teens and young adults. I've enjoyed talking with the teens and Muslimanites about the things that they're going through, or, just school stuff, life stuff, trying to figure out how to meet Ramadan goals and do school at the same time, just stuff like that. It's nice to talk with the youth about their experiences and to be able to share my experiences and to see how I can best offer my experiences to aid them. I enjoy serving as that mentor to college-age students and teenagers. And I also love engaging with those who have recently converted to Islam or those who are interested in Islam. So I'm very interested in convert/revert programming and spaces where you're really creating that environment for someone to step in who's interested about Islam and the Quran and the life of the Prophet Muhammad. You're creating an environment where all of that information is approachable and easy to access and where they can feel welcome. And then after they've embraced Islam, you've created something where you've created resources where they can still connect to other Muslims and not feel left behind after converting. So those are all areas of interest that I have.
Okay. So for me, when I first thought of this question, I'm just like Fatima said, it's such a big community. There's so many different areas that I would kind of have thought about. But so I'll just highlight the top 3 for me. So I realized over the years, my priorities have kind of changed. So like thinking about how I thought when I was a teenager, and then when I was a young adult, and then now it's kind of like, okay, so for me, one of the main things I would like to do is kind of create some kind of space for the people who are from like 18 to 25, or, it's maybe a wider range, but people who are, unmarried, don't have children, creating a space for us in the masjid. I'm saying, so, I don't have children or anything either. So, because I feel like right now, it's not that I feel like there's not really anything there, and that, like, and I think maybe going back to what Fatima was saying earlier, maybe that can look like us creating more leadership opportunities, which I think we are doing now. But I know, like, when I was that age, it kind of was like lacking. A lot of us went off to college, and then when we came back, it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, so I know I need to take my own notes and think of for myself what that would look like. But that's something that I want to do, in whether that's, maybe creating more social spaces for us to connect with each other. Because at the end of the day, we are the next generation. So we have to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to end up taking over one day, inshallah? And then the other group is also the elderly population. because I've been privileged to be a part of multiple panels where we talk about the young adults and the youth, and how do we keep us engaged. And I remember one specifically, this senior sister stood up and she said that they're forgotten about a lot. And that really, at first, when she first said it, I was like, I don't know. But then I thought about it later, and this was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And I thought about, I'm like, you know what? She kind of is right. And I know right now, not kind of is, but she is right. But even now, I know there are some elderly people in our community who, they need help with housing, they need help with, groceries and things like that. So, and as I said before, I'm writing those for myself so that I remember everything I said right here and actually in place for them. But inshallah, that's something that I want to help with. And then the other thing, when I was, I think when I was in college, is when I started getting more interested in shelters for like homeless women and children, or battered women and children, people who are dealing with domestic violence and domestic abuse. And previously, I had not really connected that with the Muslim community. Like, oh yeah, I can do that as someone in the Muslim community. It was kind of like a separate thing in my mind. But now I'm thinking, I can actually merge the two, because unfortunately, we deal with the same things that the secular world deals with. So those are like my top 3 things that I'm thinking about right now. Inshallah, I can start actually working toward those.
Alhamdulillah.
You get a chance to answer that already? Khalil, did you get a chance to answer? Okay, you did. I think I'm seeing nodding heads. All right. So, Sister Latifa, are there any questions that have come across?
Yes, there are.
All
okay.
right.
The first question right here is, Assalamu alaikum. Do you have an online class for children? So I'm going to direct that to Sister Fatima Ali. Do you know the ages in the Islamic Institute whereby there's a class maybe offered for younger people, or as she mentioned, children? Are you aware?
I know that for the Islamic Learning Institute, they have 3 courses: Young Scholars Beginning Arabic Level 1, Level 2, and this semester, Young Scholars Reading Fluency. And those are offered for students ages 8 through 14. And I know that there's at least one 15-year-old in there. So I believe those are the courses that they're offering.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. All right. We have another question right here. And it says, you've mentioned a few programs in the community. Can you explain what Muslima Nights and Iqra Voice are for those who may not be aware?
Sure, I can explain Muslima Nights, and then I'll let one of my co-panelists explain Iqra Voice. Muslima Nights is a sisters group that my cousin Aisha Rashid and I started. There are 2 chapters, one for teenagers 13 through 18, and another chapter for sisters 18 through 30. Right now, for the 13 through 18 group, we meet every other Sunday to talk about topics relevant to what our youth are experiencing in life or in school, or questions that they may have. And we do activities to build a sense of sisterhood online. So game nights or trivia nights. We haven't done a movie night yet, but it's in the books. And for the 18 through 30 group, we've been on hiatus recently, but we're looking to revamp our weekly or monthly meetings. So if you're interested, you can email muslimanites@gmail.com and we'll add you to the emailing list.
Aisha, do you want to explain it, or
You can go ahead.
For Iqra? Oh, okay. Well, Acre Voice is basically like the voice competition, but um, it's for the kids. We are the coaches. We teach the surah to the kids. Each of the coaches have different surahs, but they're all teaching the kids the same one. So when it is time to present, we're looking for tajweed, pronunciation, um, and just overall the fluency of the surah. It's over a weekly basis. We get one day of the week for an hour. I'm on Fridays. The rest of them are on Sundays. A little bit different. They all have their own coaching styles. They have different ways of teaching, but we're all competing to see who has the best tajweed and performance. So it's highly competitive because I am dealing with some heavy hitters because they already have experience with teaching. But for me personally, it's all just been a great experience. The kids have been great. It's everything has really been very positive and very moving, and hopefully I get a lot of blessings from doing this, and the kids also. So that's pretty much with Acre Voice. I think it's either on the 28th or the 27th of April is when they're going to present. Other than that, we only got a couple weeks left with the kids, and that should be it.
Actually, I'm going to show the flyer right now. And what our young adults have been talking about is the Iqra Voice Team Quran recitation and Adhan competition. It's to be held on Saturday, April the 30th, and it will be virtual and in person, hosted by Sister Basima and Brother Sundiata. And it's for males and females. The males for the Team Quran recitation and Adhan competition. And for the females, it's just the Team Quran recitation. So again, join us on April the 30th. And I'm excited that y'all are excited. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
It's going to be a blast, honestly. The students are learning so much. It's been great to work with them. And it's fun to, have something that everybody's excited about as we're jumping back into community life and creating that sense of camaraderie amongst our individual students and friendly competitiveness between the teams as we all strive as in a race towards all that is good in our tajweed and Arabic pronunciation.
Yeah, sponsored by the parent generation, specifically masjidwdm Muhammad and a Man of Growth Funds.
I don't understand that question.
No, I was just making a comment that it was brought to you by the parent generation. A Man of Growth Funds is one of the sponsors, and masjidwdm Muhammad is the other major sponsor. That was all.
Okay.
So, Sister Latifa, any other questions?
Yes, sir. So it says, do the young adults have an outreach program for non-Muslims?
Not currently, not that I'm aware of. I think over COVID, I know Aisha, Rashid, and we talked about maybe just starting outreach, just a program for other young adults who are already in the Muslim community, youth and young adults, but we hadn't discussed an outreach program for non-Muslims.
I think that's something that I'm definitely going to the parent generation to take some notes from them for how to make that, how that would look. Because that sounds really nice. I'm going to start to write it down right now. But I personally don't know how it will look. So I'm definitely going to ask, especially people in the nation and, the people who had to sell Muhammad Speaks. You guys have some skills that we need.
Oh, am I okay? Was I supposed to respond? I was just trying to think of different ways to outreach non-Muslims. Honestly, the only thing I've been doing to do that is just been providing an example to people I know. They ask me like, "Why are you fasting, man?" Like all that, and I'll be laying down the facts to them. My dad be teaching me about the different benefits of fasting and things like that. So they have questions and they're very curious about why y'all do this. Sometimes they can't like, "Nah, man, I can't do that. That's not for me." I'm like, "Man, you don't know it until you try it." And I try to outreach to my friends, when they're having a tough time. If I ever get to that conversation, because sometimes they don't even like talking about it, but sometimes when they are having a mess around time, I try to give them the knowledge that I have. And personally, if we were going to do an outreach program, it's going to have to be a little bit different from the Nation of Islam wearing tuxedos and knocking on doors, handing out papers and everything like that. And, that gave us like a real image of a sharp young man, and that made people more curious about what people were doing in the Muslim community. And that's what made all the converts, especially Malcolm X, I think you need a dynamic speaker just to do that. But yeah, it's gonna have to be more creative. I mean, there's different things we can do, different social medias, different things like that. We can outreach. The world is very vast, and all it takes is something to go really viral that is from our community to get a lot of people watching and everything like that. So honestly, I would think to devise a team of just people who know how to use the technology to outreach and everything like that. Other than that, I'm just thinking on ideas. I'll be great to be a part of that, helping people who are troubled, because I know a lot of people. I know other people wasn't raised in an environment that to know what is really life's about. They're tainted by the stuff, by vices from their parents that they just don't know how to escape from. And being a Muslim and raised in that environment gives us a lot of clarity that sometimes we just take for granted sometimes. But I always think to myself, I thank God I'm Muslim and not out here doing whatever these people doing, and it's very humbling. But it's up for us to help to reach. It's up to us to reach out and pull them in. Like I think Cookbar was, don't help your friend beat up a person, help your friend pull them off or something. I forget what Cookbar was, but there was a surah talking about help your friend do whatever he's doing to bring him back into that peace of mind. So that can go for two different ways. But yeah, if I was to help outreach for a more outreach program and for young adults to do it, I would advise a more current way, or we can try to do the same thing. I mean, people will still be surprised either way. So
I'm sorry, I had one thing to add. So Fatima and I are actually helping plan a youth conference. It's going to be called the Muslim Culture Con. So everybody look out for it. I just had to go ahead and put a plug in there. And yes, I agree with Khalil. It would not look exactly like going door to door. But yes. I think I have time.
Alhamdulillah, y'all are too funny. I think our parents and grandparents would take issue. There was a LOL comment, Khalil, when you said going door to door with the tuxedos.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's all good. It's all good. So alhamdulillah. Well, you guys, you always bring a smile to my face, and inshallah, you brought a smile to our virtual audience who's watching us on Facebook and YouTube at masjidwdm, as well as those that are in attendance at Masjid WD Muhammad, Masjid Warthuddin Muhammad. So again, thank you all for your insight. Again, I'm so excited, and I felt and I feel the hope and the optimism and the excitement surrounding, our shared, as you all kind of all touched on our shared generational space, and especially in keeping with our theme of renewed commitment to community life. So I'd like to thank you, ma'am, Ahmed Shahid, our host. I'd like to thank our beautiful young people, our young adults, Sister Fatima Ali, Sister Aisha Rashid, and Brother Khalil Ahmed. May Allah continue to bless each and every one of you. There's one more comment. Let me make sure it's not a question that I missed. Oh, there's a question that said, any interest in janaza preparation?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I got so excited about that, but I actually took Sister Najia. I actually took one of her courses, or it wasn't really a course, but she did a demonstration at Masjid Taleem, and I encourage anybody that does not know about janaza, like I did not know before I went in. Yes, I encourage everyone to go. It was a very, very, very interesting experience for me. I had no idea all of the steps involved. I had no idea how beautiful the janaza can be, and how you're actually really, helping that person, be at peace. So I encourage you all, if you haven't done it already, definitely do it. I told all of my close friends, I was like, you guys need to learn about it, because now, inshallah, I know how it's done, and I can help my family members when that time comes. But yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing that we need to know.
Absolutely, because we will all face that one day, inshallah. So once again, I'd like to thank you all so very much. And I'd like to greet you all with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak. And I look forward to seeing you all as coaches and possibly judges in the Iqra Voice and Adhan competition on April the 30th, inshallah. Thank you all so much. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak. Our future is good. Our future is in good hands. Alhamdulillah.